2007 in line with the UN sanctions, but also added its own measures, such as banning the export of dual-use goods and technology, restricting financial transactions and insurance services, and prohibiting the import of Iranian oil and gas. The EU's sanctions were intensified in 2011 and 2012 as Iran refused to cooperate with the IAEA and the international negotiations over its nuclear program. The Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA, was signed in 2015 by Iran and 6 world powers: China, France, Germany, Russia, the United Kingdom, and the United States, under which Iran agreed to limit its nuclear program in exchange for the lifting of most of the UN, EU, and US sanctions. The JCPOA was implemented in 2016 after the IAEA verified that Iran had fulfilled its commitments under the deal. The JCPOA provided some relief for Iran's economy, allowing it to increase its oil exports, regain access to frozen assets, and attract foreign investment. The United States withdrew from the JCPOA in 2018 and reimposed all of its sanctions on Iran that had been suspended under the deal. The U.S. sanctions targeted Iran's key economic sectors, such as oil, banking, shipping, aviation, metals, and automotive industries. The U.S. also imposed secondary sanctions on foreign entities that continued to do business with Iran or facilitated transactions involving Iranian entities. The U.S. withdrawal from the JCPOA and the reimposition of sanctions triggered a severe economic crisis in Iran, causing its oil production and GDP growth to collapse, its currency to weaken, and its inflation to pick up. The other parties to the JCPOA, China, France, Germany, Russia, and the UK, expressed their regret over the U.S. decision and reaffirmed their commitment to preserve the deal. They also tried to find ways to facilitate trade with Iran and protect their companies from U.S. sanctions. For example, they established a special-purpose vehicle called INSTEX, Instrument in Support of Trade Exchanges, to enable trade between European companies and Iran without using US dollars or involving US-sanctioned banks. However, these efforts have been insufficient to offset the impact of US sanctions on Iran's economy. The economic impact of sanctions on Iran can be seen in various indicators superscript 1 superscript 2 superscript 3, such as oil production. Iran's oil production fell from a peak of 3.8 million barrels per day, B/D, in May 2018 to 1.9 million barrels per day in September 2020 superscript 2, a decline of about 50%. Trade balance. Iran's trade balance turned from a surplus of $6.11 billion in 2019 to a deficit of $3.45 billion in 2020 superscript 2, a swing of about $9.56 billion. Inflation. Iran's inflation rate rose from 9% in May 2018 to 41% in September 2020 superscript 2, an increase of about 32 percentage points. Currency. Iran's currency, the rial, depreciated from 42,000 rials per US dollar in May 2018 to 272,000 rials per US dollar in September 2020 superscript 2, a loss of about 85% of its value. GDP growth. Iran's GDP growth rate dropped from 4.8% in 2017 to -6.8% in 2019 superscript 2, a decrease of about 11.6 percentage points.